So we pick up in Sandpoint at the Swallowtail Festival. This happens every so many years, and a swallowtail is actually a beautiful bird uh, that is honored and revered by Desna, the goddess of travel and luck and the moon. And she's an all around awesome deity. This year is actually very special, as a few months ago there was a massive fire that rampaged through the town of Sandpoint, and it burnt down their temple, the temple dedicated to Desna, as well as a few other of the gods of the island. And they've now rebuilt. The town has come together to rebuild, and they're now hosting the Swallowtail Festival. We pick up with Cass. Cass, you're at the Rusty Dragon. The Rusty Dragon is actually a fairly new tavern owned by Miko, and with her aid of Bethan, a elderly halfling woman. Um, the Rusty Dragon is known to host travelers, merchants, and especially adventurers. And today you find yourself a bit overwhelmed, as it is a festival and a lot of people have come into town. You're kind of moving through the crowd, trying to push people left and right, and Amigo calls out to you, Cass, I need help over here, please.
I'm gonna finish whatever I was doing super quickly, and then I'm gonna rush through. And when I bump people, I don't just bump. I'll bump and be like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to the Rusty Dragon. It's wonderful there. And then I'm gonna carry on through.
As you make your way through the crowds and you make your way to the Rusty Dragon, you notice that they're currently serving kind of outdoors. They want to show this beautiful bar, and outside is a little overhanging sign with a dragon. And the reason why it's called the Rusty Dragon is as it sways, it has that rusty creak in the wind. And as you get there, Amiko seems to be a bit overwhelmed. Bethan is standing behind a massive pot and she's stirring it, and it's wonderful stew smells. It's as you like peek in, it looks like that Japanese curry, very heavy, almost stew like curry, and the smells waft over the crowds. And as you get there, you realize one of the patrons has become a bit too rambunctious and is trying to like dip their bowl into the curry, and Bethan is taken back and doesn't really know what to do. And
I'm
Bethan
going.
looks out to you and is like, "Help!"
I'm going to sidle up to the customer. How tall are they comparatively?
Compared to you, they are a normal sized human.
I'm going to do like a sneaky elbow into the back of the knee, but like
Mm-hmm.
casually, so that he like the person drops a little bit low, and I'm gonna be like lean against the cauldron and be like, oh, it's hot, so I'm gonna not lean against the cauldron, no burning hands, and I'm gonna and I'm gonna be like, the stew is divine. You know what I found best is actually the parts at the bottom of the stew. So let's just wait, because what's at the bottom cooks a little bit longer. So we'll come back, and then I'm gonna sort of lead him towards some ale.
Mm-hmm. And he's like stumbling. He's like, "Well, let me tell you something." And then he kind of like looks up and looks at you and is like, "How did I get down here? How'd you get so tall?" And then he sees
It,
the ale, like you're leaning him towards this ale, and he's like, "Oh, more ale." And he climbs up onto these bench like seats, like the park bench, and starts to drink ale. And Amiko comes over to you and is like, "Oh, thank you so much. This guy's been a real jerk this whole time."
I'm gonna whisper to Miko and say, either the booze will help and he'll fall asleep, or we'll have a bigger problem just now. Let's see.
And then Amiko kind of like taps her hilt, like her belt hilt, and you can notice that she has a dagger, and she was like, "I got this. Don't worry about it."
And I'm gonna just talk about the general. It's bustling today. It's wonderful.
Yeah, we're really pulling in a ton of people today. I really expect us to make a lot of money. Our coffers have been kind of low.
Mm.
Do you think there's anything we should be doing to get more people over here?
Um, you know, maybe we could get the theater performers to do some performances. I'm sure they're doing some things, but we could sort of get them to waft our way. Maybe I should see if Malvolo and Nexen can assist.
Oh, that would probably be helpful to have them come over here, bring on a bit of a show.
Sure.
And
And then I'll look to the man and be like, "You've got him."
and she nods, and Amico nods, and the man kind of seems to be like leaning into his drink a little too hard. He might have fallen asleep. You're not sure?
Perfect. I'll go get them then if you don't need anything else.
No, thank you very much. And with that, we will actually head over to Nexen and Malvolo as you guys are working in the theater. Nexen, you're putting together costuming for a few of the play that will be going on here in Sandpoint. And Sidrak, the owner of the Sandpoint Theater, comes on in and is like, Nexen, how's it going?
Well, it's going all right, and I just can't get this one hem to really line up exactly how I want it to. But other than that, and some of the actors, they've got their own opinions about their costumes, but they're wrong.
As always, I trust you'll do the best for us. You've never steered us astray, but I do actually have a problem. These actors, we can't wrangle them, and I've asked them to meet up here so that they could collect their costumes, and they have not done that. I think they're all still at the festivals, either drinking or eating. And as he's speaking like that, the mannequin that you're working on kind of tilts his head and like looks at you, and that's actually Collodi is hanging out with you. And Sidrak looks at you and says, well, if you could finish up here and bring over the costuming so that the plays can go on at the show, I would really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I can get that all done, and if you want a hand wrangling a few actors, I might be able to, once I drop off the costumes, help herd them along.
Yes, I would greatly appreciate that. And he kind of looks a bit shy and looks down to the floor, and he says, so it's we since the fires, it's been a bit of a dry spell here. Do you think I could just maybe pay your wages after the show today? Maybe next week, if possible? And he's kind of rubbing his hands together as like a nervous tick.
We can figure this all out after the festival. Whether it's wages or maybe paying in some goods. I do have a few things that I'd like to make, so we can get that figured out later.
And he like perks up as you say, like, yeah, sure, and he's like, oh well, I expect a major turnout today. We will have tons of silver to hand out to everyone, so I wouldn't really worry about it at all. And thank you. And he kind of comes over and looks at the outfit that's draped on Collodi, and he's like, oh,
Hey, my eyes are up here.
He's like, oh, I apologize. And he kind of like looks left and right and is like, and like leans over and looks at Nexen and is like, so are you working on ventriloquy?
Yeah. I didn't even see my lips move, did you?
No. Maybe we could put that into our show one of these.
I'm not so sure if I'm fit to be on stage in front of folks.
Oh no, I think it's a great idea. I mean, this stage has seen plenty of dummies on it.
I'm just gonna elbow Collodi.
And he kind of looks over. He's just like, wow, you are amazing. This act, it would bring in such revenue. we should totally work this out. Like, I could write up a contract. We could get you on stage maybe 3-4 shows. That would be amazing.
Well, I guess we can talk about that at a later date. But we do have to wrangle up those actors and get things started.
And he kind of shakes his head and he like looks around and he's like, oh yeah, so just please pack up everything that you need, and just as you get to the festival, just see if you can find those actors, drag them over and get them into costume as soon as possible. I'm gonna meet you over there. I just have to run down and grab a few last items, and yeah, I appreciate all your work. And again, I'm super sorry. With the fires and everything, I'm just really, really sorry about how I haven't really been able to keep up with the payments. And your costuming is always superb.
Oh, don't worry about it. Tom will work everything out.
Yeah, you're a great asset to the theater, and I just want you to know that, and I appreciate all your work. And like I said, I'll figure out a way to get this act, you and this mannequin dummy over here, and have you guys figure out what to do. I'm thinking maybe 3 shows, and he kind of pulls out like a pen, like a quill, and he starts to jot something down on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. She's just gonna kind of like adjust his collar a little bit and be like, yeah, we can discuss this at a later date, but I'm gonna start. And she starts gathering up all the costumes and stuff like that. But gotta make the curtain. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, and then he like trails off as he's like jotting stuff down. And he's done this before, like if you just get everything together, he'll probably be standing there for the next 20 minutes just writing down ideas. And then he'll realize you've left long after you're gone.
Malvolo is like Collodi is next to Nexen, still kind of half wearing this, what I imagine to be a little girl's dress of some kind. And turns over to Nexen. That guy doesn't appreciate you. I swear, if it weren't for you working for him, half of those kids would still be in potato sacks.
Well, I certainly won't turn down a compliment, but
is that what I did?
Perhaps. We're gonna have to talk about this whole ventriloquism thing, because makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, well, I
pile clothes on top of Collodi.
Well, I'll just.
As Nexen and Collodi kind of get their stuff together and try and make their way over to the festival, we pick up with Krut. Krut, you're standing guard, and the now Sheriff Baylor comes forward and taps you on the shoulder. Guard, how's it going today?
Good.
Always the conversationalist. How, do you notice anything outside the ordinary?
Nope.
I do have to say, it is lovely having someone of your stature on our force. You've been a real asset to the community, being able to maintain order and discipline among the other guards. Now, I don't want to say this to everyone else, but I was wondering if you might be interested later on taking on more responsibilities within the guards.
Like, what type of responsibilities?
I was thinking about making you the quartermaster.
Yeah, I can handle that.
Now, you do know that will give you less time on the streets and more time working in the guardhouse. I know you found yourself, you don't like cramped spaces. When you kind of came to us, you were a bit hesitant on that.
I am trying my best.
Now, you do know today is an extremely important day, and I need you on 100% to make sure that nothing goes awry.
Oh, I am always on 100%.
I'm gonna also have to ask that you don't send anyone to the clerics um, today. If you do see any rebel rousing, try to talk them down before using unconventional means.
Now, when you mean talk, do you
Well,
mean
like you
talk with my mouth or with my fists?
see, that's more of what I was seeing here. With your mouth, you have such a broad stature that you could probably just
All right, with my
impose
mouth.
your will upon them.
Okay. I can talk with my mouth. Got you.
Mm-hmm. And by talk, you do mean not bite.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just wanted to clear that out. As my next possible quartermaster, you will not be talking or handling people on the street as a guard. You will be in the station house and much more confined to just training new recruits. Um, you find that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll talk about that later today. Um, now I'm gonna walk with you down to the festival grounds and um, just kind of point out important houses and locations, and just make sure that you get a better layout. Now you're going to be stationed near the stage where the performers will be putting on a small play, and then the mayor and the father will be putting on speeches. So all I really need you to do is just kind of stand near the stage and look imposing. You can handle that.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's all I really needed to know. So are you have everything you need? You're all ready to go?
Yes. I am ready to go.
Wonderful, wonderful. And with that, the sheriff uh, will accompany you down to the festival grounds. And as you get down to the festival grounds, you will notice there's a large amount of people. Everyone's kind of laughing and jeering and just having fun. And he'll kind of shuffle you over to where the stage edge is, and he's like, I just really need you to stand here and just keep an eye on everything.
Just stand right here.
Yes, right there is perfectly fine. Just use your stature, like I said, and really impose authority in this area.
Yes. Statue. Got you.
Yes. And so he's kind of just making sure you're comfortable there. He's not nervous around you, but he's just trying to keep you from boiling over. So it seems like he's walking on eggshells when speaking with you. You're in a fairly large open space, and you have a pretty good view of the entire fairgrounds at this point. And like I said, you have a lot of people eating and playing nearby and just having a grand old time. And a few kids run past you. Those children run towards a stall, and you hear a familiar voice from that stall. Rain.
Get your herbs. Come on, buy something from me. I need money.
Rain, you're standing at this stall, just calling out, trying to pull some attention over to you. And Malvolo, you're also there with her, working in the back of her cart that you're kind of unloading and moving, shuffling things around, just trying to make everything look very beautiful. Rain, you see a number of children kind of run by, and a few of them are like laughing and jeering and poking and prodding at each other, and one of the kids kind of pushes another kid near the stall and like knocks a few of your produce onto the floor, and then they stand up and they start to run away, and then you hear a man's voice yells out, it's like, halt, thief. And then you notice it's a guard, and the guard is actually trying to grab up one of the kids as the child just kind of knocked into the stall, and the guard now thinks the kid is trying to steal something from you.
No, 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 you will not hurt this child. She's just gonna swoop him up and kind of just tuck it underneath her arm.
Mm-hmm.
His feet dangling out the back. This child is perfectly fine and you were going to leave him alone. Those rascals over there are the ones that you need to go after, not this little angel. No.
And the little kid kind of looks up with you with like a big grin, missing their like 2 front teeth, and
Looking. Okay. I'm just gonna put him down a little bit further.
and the guard's like, well, I saw what was going on here, and it looks like they were trying to steal something. Why don't I just take this child?
No. I mean, those over there may have, but this one got pushed down. It's not his
And
fault.
The kid,
Fine.
the child kind of is making faces. Marvolo, you could see the child is making faces at the guard, like, you know, like when a child is hiding behind their mom's leg, and you know they know they're protected.
Malvolo kind of, you know, because he's kind of dressed in these robes and wears over his face this kind of porcelain mask, as he sort of looks beyond it. He's kind of seen this before and knows way better than to get between Ranne and what she believes is right. Looking around, have we made any money today, like at all?
You guys made like maybe 3-4 copper pieces.
We've traded for.
I'll take a couple of those copper pieces, and sort of very staggeredly, sort of sort of leave the stall behind, and walk over and say, begging your pardon, but I believe the small person dropped this on the road. And he'll go to hand a copper piece over to the small child.
Mm-hmm. And being held like a football, the kid kind of like weasels their arm out and is like, that's my money, and then is like trying to give it to Ranne now. Is like waving their hand near.
All right. See, he paid. It's perfectly fine. We've got this handled, and this is my stall.
And the guard now looks around and is like, and what are these? What are you selling?
They're plinko berries and some sebum, and there's some shells that we picked up from the beach. Just a few little things, some herbs if you'd like. Why are you needing something?
I've never heard of plinko berries. What do they taste like?
They're delicious. She's going to drop the child. Just forget about the child.
There's like a cluck.
And turns around to her stall. Oh, these are absolutely wonderful. If you're feeling sick, if you're feeling under the weather sort of thing, if you feel like you've been cursed, any sort of thing, these are the things that you're going to want to have. So she pulls them up, and it's just this giant pile of like these pink and blue berries that are all kind of clustered together, a bit like grapes, but they come to a little triangle point at the end of each one of them. Now, you have to wait until they turn the pink color, because if you eat them before the pink color, you'll have diarrhea for at least 14 days. But if they're the pink color, not only will it heal you, but it'll also bring you luck. Or at least that's the rumor. Probably isn't true. But they do taste delicious and fantastic in salads.
Oh, that sounds amazing. How much?
Malvolo, how much were we selling these for?
Malvolo raises up 2 fingers and then looks around and sees. Is the guy well dressed and like, or is he just in uniform?
He's just kind of in uniform.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Two? It costs 2 things.
And he's kind of like looking at you, Ranne, and then looking at Marvolo, and he's like, two.
For this bundle.
Oh, for the whole bundle. Oh, okay. And then he kind of like reaches into his like pouch, pulls out 2 copper pieces, and hands it to you, Rain.
Thank you.
While the guard is distracted,
Mhm.
as what I imagine the child is trying to sort of skulk away, Malvolo, without looking, is going to kind of grab the child by the shirt, sort of
Mhm.
spin him around and reach into his pocket and take the copper piece back. I know that there's some sort of like lesson to give the child, but I'll be damned if I'm the one to give it, and I'll just sort of push him. Just get out of
Just-
here.
The kid like stumbles and like makes a face at you, sticks their tongue out, and like runs away to join their friends. And you can hear them like laughing and just being small, rambunctious children.
Ugh, gross.
So, Rain, you hand the guard the berries, the pink plinko berries, and as soon as the guard takes them, he starts to walk away from you. And the first thing you notice is like he's taking a handful and is like shoving them into his mouth. Like he completely ignored the fact that they are not the right color to eat.
Well, that young man is going to be feeling very terrible tomorrow, but that's okay. That's not our problem. We should
No.
probably move our stall to outside further, much further. That way he can't find us.
Yes, maybe.
Malvolo, take a note of that, all right?
Yep. It's all up here.
And she's going to go back to rearranging and picking up all the stuff. Children, I can't believe they just run into this and then none of them came back and helped to pick this up. And she's going to notice a few things that are missing from her cart. Twilo, did you eat some of these? And she's going to poke up, and on top of the stall is a cute little black squirrel with a bright green tail highlight that's just popping up, and he just has a handful of the little plinko berries and just pops his head up, and he's got giant cheeks just clearly full of all of these fruits. His eyes bulging out because he cannot fit anymore, and he scutters away, hiding from her. Not going to make anything. Also, two? Is that how much we're charging things, Malvolo?
Well, I was going to charge 2 for like a small bundle, not a full. It's fine. It's fine. We can restock after the festival. There'll be plenty of people coming by.
Right. 2 after. I'm sorry. I'm an absolute klutz with these things. You know what? I'm just going to. I'll pull them in, and then you can deal with the sales. You're very good at that. And she's gonna put her hand on his shoulder. Plus, you can work on your social skills a little more.
I'll take the coin and I'll from her hand, and I'll quietly work my way behind the stall again, open up the little tray and put the coins in. Very much trying to be as small as possible behind this stall. Like, yep. No, I'll work on that. Yep, I'll get right to talking to people. Just as soon as I do this thing over here.
You think about it. How else are we gonna find you just like an absolute sweetheart? You deserve someone. You know that if you go out and you venture, you're gonna find someone very sweet for you.
I'm in a long-term frustrating commitment with Collodi, but I thank you for your thank you, Rain.
You don't let Collodi hold you back. You're a sweet, sweet man. Sometimes. A few times, but we're working on it. And don't you let Collodi bother. I'll watch Collodi for you. Collodi and I get along great. I'll have him go out and help me pick up branches or something. He's good at that.
Malvolo ponders whether or not Collodi views that as him picking up like severed limbs. Because Collodi's made of wood.
Oh, that's dark.
So, as Rain and Marvolo are figuring out this stall, Cass, you actually stumble upon Collodi and Nexen making their way towards the stage. Nexen, Collodi is kind of holding a bundle of clothes, and Nexen, you have your sewing kit. It's a basket, correct?
Yeah.
So you have your basket of sewing stuff, and they're fairly close to the fairgrounds at this point. And you know, you see them on the road heading towards the stage area.
I'm gonna go through the crowd and and say, "Hey, Nexen. Hey, Collodi.
Hi. We're on our way over to the stage. If you can see, Collodi's got all the costumes for the actors. We're just
I can help." And then I take like 3 things, not like a lot, but it's something. And in my halfling, it looks like a lot.
Oh. Yeah, just be careful not to let any of that drag on the ground, because I don't want to get any dust and dirt on it.
I'm gonna raise it above my head, and now I'm like very conscious of holding it carefully. And I'm gonna say, "So everything's ready for the show?"
Well, all the costumes are ready, but I think we still need to gather up. I offered to help gather all the actors, so I don't know if any of them have been drinking at the tavern.
Which one?
All of them?
All the taverns or all the actors?
Oh, all the actors.
Okay, we will definitely get them out of the other taverns. I will help you.
Well, if they're in your tavern, we are still gonna need them. We can encourage them to go to the tavern after the show for drinks. You know, maybe encourage all of them to go together.
Okay, deal. And then I'm gonna keep holding the clothing very carefully above my head.
So, as you guys are making your way, Collodi walking, a group of kids kind of run past, laughing, and one of them's like holding up a bundle of weird berries you've actually never seen. And they kind of like running past the group, and you all kind of have to like shuffle and move because everyone's about the same height as the child, except for Collodi. Collodi can kind of just like knee their way through the children.
So just to clarify, in the short span of the 40 minutes that we've been live, I have thus far pushed a child over and kneed the others in the
Well, Collodi's not like
very well. As you wish, I will lean into my character. Take this, small child.
No.
Take a knee kick.
No, like he's just like he can move through the children. Not that like Collodi is like tiger kneeing people in the face.
I like that version better.
Wading through children.
Yes, there you go. That's the better way to put that. He is just able to wade through the small group of children that are laughing and giggling as they run past you. So everyone, Nexen, Collodi, and Cass make their way over to the Rusty Dragon area, which is still in this fairgrounds, and you can now see there is a large group of people kind of collecting around, having that stew, drinking, and Nexen, you notice a fair number of them are part of the theater crew.
I'm going to start grabbing like the costume pieces and just going up and shoving them into the hands of the various actors, like. And all right, y'all, it's time to get on over to the stage. You can come on back here after the show, but you gotta put on your costumes. Remember to be careful with them and don't change them in any way. I know you have your own opinions about what you should look like, but I have made them exactly how they should be.
So a few of them grumble and mumble, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And you notice that they're a few of them are pretty intoxicated, and then there's this really, you would say they feel that they're the star, and it's a tiefling with this beautiful, pink purple hair, maroon colored hair, and they stand up and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll never change a thing." And she kind of holds up her costume. She's like, we went with the gold trim. Remember, not really my thing.
Oh, but the gold really brings out the color of your hair, which is why we did that, and it also works very well with the contrasting against the villain's costume, so that's why we went with it. And I'm the costume designer. You're just the actor.
Yeah, but when I'm on stage, I need to feel like they're looking at me. And I don't know, like, obviously you're right, and I don't want to take anything from you, but I just feel like maybe we should talk next time about the coloring. I have a few ideas I would love to give you, and then sometimes around the waist you go a little too tight, and it doesn't really fit my figure. Obviously you're the best, and I'd never say anything bad about your work to my friends or anyone outside. I always say you're just the best, but I don't know. Are you having a stressful time? I just feel like your work's dropped a little bit. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude.
Well, I am not stressed at all, and I think that maybe you should be a little less worried about what the costume looks like and be a little bit more about, remembering those lines there, honey.
Yeah.
Bless your heart. You don't want to forget the key line at the key moment.
Yeah, sometimes I forget, I'm always enamored by the costuming, and when it comes out, I get taken back, and it makes me forget my lines a little bit. Just, sometimes the color choices are a bit bright, and doesn't really, it startles me.
Hey, you know something that ain't always really focused on? It's how a costume tastes, okay? So unless you want to spend the next 5 minutes figuring that out for yourself, I'd say thank you and jog on.
And then the tiefling looks and is covers their mouth and is like, Okay, why don't we round this up? And they turn to the table of the other actors, and it's like, let's go, guys. And there's a gnome with this green hair with normally when a person gets old, you have that streak of white. They have a streak of orange in their hair. There's a half orc and a dwarven woman, and they kind of they're like, oh, we should go. Why don't we get out of things, and we'll definitely talk to Sidrak about this, but that's later. Thank you, Nex. You're just the best. And then they take their clothing and start to head over to the stage.
I swear, these actors, bloody animals.
I'm gonna just look at Collodi and be like,
what? I was polite and everything.
I mean, for you, but we need her to bring all the cool people to come drink here so that other people come and drink here. Why didn't you go with Nexen's work's amazing? It makes your hair pop.
I mean, look, I know. When people start talking like that, I kind of lose myself. I kind of just get over this idea that, is that the kind of atmosphere you want to be building here? I mean, think about it. If the Rusty Dragon is filled with grade A, beef strips like this, it's gonna be a rough place to be, and you're gonna push customers away, not bring them in.
I see you trying to re-schmooze me. You should have schmoozed her.
Damn it. All right.
I don't work in the theater where things catch fire and you're made of wood. And she looks like someone who knows how fires work.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll keep it zipped. Look, see? At this point, Collodi literally takes off his jaw and puts it in his pocket. Huh? Yeah.
Is it moving in the
in his pocket? Quiet as a mouse.
Okay, let's try better with the rest of the cast. And then carry on.
So at this point, there is a kind of like a popping sounds coming from the stage area, and it takes your attention, and there people are setting off small fireworks near the stage, and walking up is a older man, human, around their late 50s, maybe early 60s, hunched over, and is holding a symbol of Desna in their hand, and that's clearly Father Xanthus. And followed right behind is a young woman, human woman, and that is Mayor Kendra. And they're making their way to the stage, and fireworks are going off, and people started to kind of crowd the stage at this point. Nexen, Cass, Collodi, Ranne, Malvolo, and Krut. Krut, you're already at the stage, but the rest of the group, your kind of attention is brought to the stage, and you can see that now crowds are starting to form, and the speech, which kind of sets off the entire festivities, is about to be given. Stepping forward onto the stage, and it's a small wooden stage, just large enough for maybe 5-6 people to be on. And this old man comes to the stage, and leaning on their cane, waves a hand out onto the crowd, trying to silence everyone. Says, "Greetings, my friends, and welcome to our annual Swallowtail Festival. I am Father Xanthus, and this is Mayor Kendra, and we want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank our proprietors, the Rusty Dragon," and he kind of waves a hand over to Amiko and Beth Ann, and you can see they're working along, trying to thing, and Amiko kind of lifts her head and shoots a wave. "And I want to thank the merchants for traveling in from all over." And he kind of waves over to the merchant stalls, and Ranne and Malvolo, you can see him kind of gently waving into your general direction. "And to our theater group," and he nods over to a small crowd of standing to the left of the stage. You can see the tiefling that you were just talking to. They kind of wave, and then turns to the entire crowd and waves to the crowd. "And thank you to our carpentry for building this beautiful temple," and he gestures to the temple, and it's this new, beautifully elegant temple, and it comes to a very nice point, and it gold filigree and stained glass windows depicting a number of different gods and goddesses. And in the center there's Desna, the goddess, with her symbol, the butterfly, and it's a beautiful purple butterfly with where the black dots normally would be on like a monarch butterfly. These are stars. They look like stars, and as the light hits it, it just kind of sparkles and shines among over everyone else. And I want to just thank everyone for being here. I know with the late unpleasantness and the fires that have raged, it has been a trying time for the people of Sandpoint, and I just want to let everyone know that we have come together and achieved a great number of things in the past few years. We have overcome the late unpleasantness and the fires that ravaged, and through all that, we now have prosperity. And the crowd kind of cheers at the notion of prosperity. And I want to thank all of you, my flock, who come to the temple even when it wasn't built, and pray to the gods and goddesses for aid, and they have answered our prayers. Where is our generous donors? Where are they? The Foxglove and the Mr. Foxglove and Longiku, and he's kind of like peeking out over the crowd, and then everyone kind of stops, and then he realizes they're not in the crowd right now, and then he's like, "Oh, thank you," and he just waves in like a general to bring the attention back to him. Thank you very much for your donations to help rebuild the church. I want to thank Mayor Kendra, and I know she has a few things she would like to say to her citizens, so I will take a step back and let her say what she needs to say, and then we will go on with a prayer to Desna and release the Swallowtails. He steps back, and Mayor Kendra steps forward, and she looks out upon the crowd. Thank you all for being here. I know it's been trying, like Father Zentis has said, but we are Sandpoint, and we have been through worse. We have been here for almost as long as those statues out into our bay, and people kind of recognize that in the bay area there is like collapsing Runelord statues, and we have survived a great number of times, and this is a celebration of our spirit and will. And I just want to say, please enjoy yourselves. Go to the different festivities. I hear we have a strongman competition, bobbing for apples, which I'll be at, and a number of other different games. Remember, all the proceeds do go to the church to feed the helpless and hungry. So I will now leave things with Father Xanthus as he will lead us in prayer. And Father Xanthus steps forward and starts to lead everyone in a small prayer to Desna. At the end of the prayer, he releases a cage of swallowtail birds, and they kind of explode out from the cage, and everyone cheers and claps. What would my players like to be doing? You can have joined up. You would have seen each other among the crowds moving together. Oh, there go the birds.
Green's going to be standing in front of her stall, eating her plinko berries. Quilo hanging out up at the top, and she's dragged Mal to be up at front with her to stand up there, and occasionally she hands him a few plinko berries. You need to make sure that you eat something.
I think Malvolo and Collodi have kind of gotten together, so because just to kind of acknowledge each other's presence here at the festival. Collodi sort of trying to say something through like just sign language because his mouth is still in his pocket, and Malvolo having literally no idea what he's trying to say, just is sort of nodding like, yes, I'm sure whatever you are going through is just absolutely terrible. I'm so confident in that, but I'm sure that I will hear all about it when you've stopped flailing like a lunatic. Yep. No? Okay. All right, goodbye. Bye, wherever you're going. I swear, of all the Eidolons I could have summoned.
Yeah, I think Nexen would have followed Collodi over and kind of sidled up next to Ranne and just kind of like standing up on her tiptoes trying to see over the crowd.
She's going to notice, here, hop on up. And she's going to not even ask for permission, just lift her up and put her on her shoulder and like hold up the bag of plinko berries. I'm so excited, by the way, to see your costumes. I know they're going to be absolutely fantastic. I've been telling everyone that I know you. Well, not everyone, that nobody's really come to talk to me, but I would because I'm so proud of you. She's going to lift that bag up higher.
You know, I've always wondered what it would be like to be as tall as you. This is quite nice. I can see just about everything.
It does create a nice view overall, but you definitely get a lot of eyes.
Yeah. And I'll grab one of the berries and kind of like hold it up to my shoulder, and out of the collar, this black and green spider kind of creeps forward and like starts nibbling on the berry. And there's a big blue bow tied around its abdomen.
Yeah, I'll join as well. And then I'll just gesture to Miko that I'll get the actors to come after the show, and then everyone can talk, and they'll bring the crowd. So yeah, I'm gonna go there and get a nice vantage point. Subtly, I like not letting Rain get the vibe of she wants to pick me up, because I don't really like being that close to other people. And so I'm going to be like, I thought the costume looked really nice, and you did wonders with that, with her hair, because it's that. What color is that even? And then I'm gonna stand there talking to Nexen, and then.
Well, yeah, it is a bit of a difficult color to pick things out for, but you know, it's all about figuring out what's going to accentuate her features the best.
I think she needs to eat less stew. Also, when she said your measurements, I'm like, I have seen you in here eating that stew, and it's divine, but it's a lot.
Well, yeah, some folks just don't know when to say no, even if it is a good thing. Too much of a good thing can be just as bad.
And if Rain offered me berries, I'm gonna like put quite a lot in my mouth, and I'll be like, I'm not right.
Oh yeah, she's just gonna you have like a whole basket that's there on the floor. Go crazy.
They're all pink, correct? The
yes,
berries?
They're all pink for us.
Okay.
Krut is just going to continue standing where he was told to, and obviously make sure nothing is out of the ordinary, out of the, anything suspicious.
Nothing suspicious.
Nothing suspicious.
Nice spot, Krut, from across.
Yeah, so there is like now, again, if we've ever been to like those carnivals, you can see like there's a large number of people, but Krut kind of strikes an imposing figure, similar to Rain. They're both almost a head taller than everyone else, so it's not hard to spot the single lizard folk in the crowd of dwarves and halflings and humans.
Okay, she's gonna spot him. Oh, guys! Over there is Krut. Krut.
Gonna look at her and then just like.
I'm gonna like untie one of the little knot charms that I have, and I will cast message to Krut. Just be like,
awesome.
Krut, you should come on over here. We got some really good berries.
I have to stay here. It is my duty.
Staring at him.
I still have no idea why we decided of all the things Krut could have been doing in Sandpoint, giving him a weapon was the best thing to do.
Oh, it's one of his strengths. Let him be. He'll feel more comfortable with one. Come here. She's like not gonna stop frantically waving at him.
I'm gonna be one of those people that pretend to look somewhere else, but I can still see them in my my side of the eye.
Gonna look at her stall, grab what she thinks is the ugliest seashell, and I'm going to try to throw it at him to get his attention. Gonna chuck it back and just trying to
just yeet it across the.
Yes.
Hurl it across the people. So you hurl it across. Why don't you just give me a D20 roll and let's see how this goes.
The first roll for today.
First roll for tonight. Yep.
3. It's a 3.
Just hit someone else.
So as you whip this seashell, and it has a hole in the back, and it's slightly broken and chipped and just awkward looking. You kind of throw it, and as you throw it, you hit one of the swallowtail birds flying by, and the bird's like ah, and it kind of catches everyone's attention, and everyone's kind of just now like trying to figure out where that shell came from.
She's gonna down as best she can and just like try to get back into her stall, but she doesn't shrink low enough to get underneath it, and her antlers just catch within it, and she's struggling. And poor Nex is like getting caught too.
Just hanging. I'm like, no, you gotta angle down to your left a little bit, and
we're just gonna take down part of the stall on the top part. Just take the whole thing down. It just hits the ground and just the dust around it. And then she's just gonna sit on the ground. I'm sorry, Nex. We're gonna have a different view for a little bit.
That's fine. You know, I don't know how much anybody noticed.
Gonna look around at the crowd.
Collodi's there with his hand up.
I'm sorry. And she's just gonna hang her head down low.
Malvolo will walk over to the small bird. Is it conscious?
It's like on the floor, just like looking around. It's super confused. Like it was like I'm flying away, and then a seashell just got like thrown at me. Like what is going on? How did the seashell get in the air?
All right. Well, I'm gonna catch the bird, and I'm just gonna kind of pat it. I'm going to just make a medicine check to see if it's okay.
Sure.
You know, just make sure its wings not damaged or anything, and then I'll kind of just throw it into the air to kind of help it fly, because I don't know how to handle birds as the player. So I imagine if you want them to fly, you throw them, like, preferably not with a spiral. So that's what I'd like to do.
Sure. Why don't you do a basic medicine check to see how this bird's doing, and if whether or not you should
basic about my character.
Should toss the bird into the air is a different story.
11.
Okay, we're getting there.
We're slowly creeping up, guys. Okay, one day we will get over 10 for our rolls.
Yeah. That's rough. So you look at this bird and you're like, nah, it's fine, and you kind of toss it up, and as you toss the bird up into the air, it's stunned. It's like, okay, he was being polite, and you know, you checked in, and its wings seem to work, but why am I getting thrown? It gives you that look of like, why? And it kind of takes to the air, and it lets out an angry squawk. It's just like, caw, and then flies off.
There's an awful sound for a pigeon.
And now people are starting to stare, and you would probably get the feeling maybe standing in a large group is not the best plan. Like, you could move your group.
Malvolo was trying to be subtle. He is now surrounded by people staring at him. He begins to shut down. He goes and runs behind the stall, gets like a big pile of berries and puts his head in it.
And lucky for you, you can actually hear people now calling out about different games, and someone kind of you hear over the crowd, you hear, oh, I can't believe I totally just won like 20 silver. And the group can see this a table has been like quickly set up, and it's just kind of two crates on top of each other, and there's a guy there quickly shuffling cards left and right, and there are 3 cards, and he's like, come see, this man just won 20 silver. All he had to do was find the queen, and he flips a card in his hand, and it's a queen card. All you gotta do, come, please, come, look, just anyone can try. It's a silver piece to get in, and you can easily win the pot. And the guy's like, yeah, I totally just did. And that's starting to draw a little bit of a crowd. And further in the back, you can hear someone grunting as they are now starting to lift these massive stones and there's a small little halfling in the front with a top hat and the cane, and is like, if you can outlift Big Joe's max weight, I will give everyone 10 gold pieces. All you have to do is outlift Big Joe over here. And you can see he's kind of like lifting these large stones and putting them onto pillars. And for each pillar height, it starts to get larger and larger, the stone. Along with that, you can hear crowds calling out for bobbing for apples, and you can see Mayor Kendra has set up around there. And she's kind of like waving people over to ask for contestants to bob for apples. And you see Father Xanthus is like, oh, he's like shaking his head no. And then you can make the assumption he's like, oh, I'm not going to dip my head into the water. So please and enjoy the festivities. You know, at this point, the crowds have kind of dispersed, and they're no longer looking at the people throwing shells and assaulting birds. Yep. So that's really it.
We should get Krut to face off against. Is it Big Joe?
Big Joe.
We could make money.
That would be a great idea. Oh, and I'm sure he would love it.
Krut is kind of inching a step by a step closer as he steps, turns back, and makes sure everything's okay. Steps a bit closer.
So Krut, are you moving towards Big Joe or to the group?
Big Joe.
Big Joe. So Krut is heading over towards Big Joe. You can, Rain and the group, you guys can notice that Krut seems excited that Big Joe is over there. And you guys can make your way over to Krut and see if you guys can make some money off of Big Joe. If you want, obviously, there is the gentleman moving cards around that has drawn a crowd, and Mayor Cassandra seems to be trying to pull in children and others for the bobbing for apples.
Malvolo and Collodi will head over and witness Krut in all his glory. You know, Big Joe is well known for his mighty strength and the rock lifting prowess of his great rippling muscles, and I would love to see if Krut can match the hefting capabilities of such a man.
Rain will follow after. She pats Krut on the back. You know, you're going to be great at this, but win or lose, we're still here for you, okay?
Yeah, Nexen's gonna kind of get up on her tiptoes up to Krut and just say, you know, I do think that fate is on your side. And she's going to cast Nudge Fate.
Nice.
But
awesome.
Muscles are on my side.
That too.
I'm going to also pat him on the back and ask guidance casually, and I'm going to be like, as your manager, I believe you're going to do amazing. And then I'm going to go over to the halfling and be like, let's discuss terms of how you're going to pay me and my muscle-bound contender.
So the halfling like looks over and he's like, well, I personally think my Big Joe over here will destroy your contender. So how does 5 silver sound?
Okay, question. Do I have 5 silver?
You got like 3.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, to make sure that you get more people to your stall,
Mm-hmm.
We'll do it for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I don't believe in my fighter, but as the first people at your stall, it's customary to grant a discount.
Mm. Okay. How about this? If you could bring in 4 more people to watch and try, we will do 2, and I'll split the profits with your group.
And we still get if we win. When we
And
win.
if you win, you'll get 4 silver pieces, and we'll split whatever profits from the rest of the people playing.
As soon as you finish saying that, I immediately just start walking to random people and intimidating them to follow me.
Oh, there he goes.
Deal. I'm gonna
Boy,
shake his hand.
you kid, follow me.
At that point, people are like stunned, as like you are a guard, so they're kind of respecting your authority here, and you're just kind of dragging people over, and they're like, sure. Cass, if you want to try a performance check, to kind of like rile up the crowd and bring in a few people, you could do that if you want.
Sure, I will try that. As a note, I am not a bot.
No, but you do. It's.
I don't know. If it walks like Kasaundra and talks like Kasaundra, it's a bot.
Yes.
If it walks like a bard and talks like a bard. Wee.
Sorry, what?
That's not bad. That's not bad. So yeah. So how does this?
For our dice? Just.
I feel like Krut trying to help is not helping.
Yeah. That's.
So I'm gonna go to places, and then as soon as I see Krut coming, I'm like, come on, Shisha, and then move to a different crowd because he's coming and scaring people.
So you're more like it's a weird combination of Krut just muscling people over, and you're like, no, you should totally come. Just trust me. And people are like, okay. So with that roll, you'll actually bring in 2 more people. You had a higher potential, but it's not terrible, and Krut's helping. So you have 2 more potential. So for a total of 8 silver, you guys will be getting by splitting the profits if Krut wins.
Would
When
we
he wins.
potentially get more if we brought more people in?
Potentially, you could theoretically get more silver pieces if you could muster up a crowd.
All right. Malvolo is gonna have a bit of a think, and he's still got a big, like, kind of fistful of these berries that he's munching down on, because, like, he does not like being the center of attention in any kind of way. As the rest of the group is gearing up for this, Collodi grabs his mouth and slams it back into his face, and he's like, "Oh, wait, I have an idea. Give me those." And he runs over to Amiko's little stall.
Okay.
Hi, Amiko.
She's like, oh, hi.
Hi. Listen. I know this is gonna sound strange, but you got like maybe 3/4 drunk barrel of like some sort of like ale or mead or mulled wine or something?
And she kind of points to a small barrel, and on the side of it, badly written, says "all spirits." And she's like, "Yeah, you can have that."
Great, thanks. Put it on Malvolo's tab. He grabs the barrel and then gets like a fistful of those the berries and crushes them, and then just dumps them into the alcohol. He then sort of looks around to make sure no one's looking. He tears off one of his arms and uses it like a makeshift spoon, and just sort of and then he sort of dries it off and sticks it back in.
Mm-hmm.
And he sort of pushes the barrel over to where the event is, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, to cure whatever ails you, come and try Rain's Pinto Spirits of absolute amazing tonic. This stuff can if you're bald, it'll grow hair. If your mother is giving you troubles, give her a swig of this. She won't bother you anymore. Try it. First taste is free as long as you sit and you watch the big man Krut go toe to toe with Big Joe. Right now. Here, come on, quick. You there, small child. How old are you? 6? That's fine. Here, this will put hair on your face." And he's like, Collodi will just start trying to palm off this stuff to draw the crowd.
People are just coming over trying to figure out what is happening, and they're taking the spirits from you, and all spirits is basically like half drank glasses that were poured into there, so it's a mixture of like wine and ale, and now with the berry. So it's a very interesting flavor. But yeah, so you've drummed up a little bit more, and you are now. Why don't you give me a? That's pretty good. So we are now at 10 silver pieces.
Yeah.
You've gotten up to 10 silver from the everything.
Great point of battle.
Money at a festival without murder.
Collodi, you used only the pink berries, right?
He looks at his hands. What color? I think it's like purple. Purple? Is that the right one? Like these are like mostly purple berries. There's also these red ones with white dots on them. I thought they were really cool.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I hope they have some nice bathrooms in there. That'll be one way to get people in. That was very, next time just ask me, okay?
Malvolo is a
my name
little
is
ashamed.
Krut.
Maybe we need to find an antidiuretic to make some kind of medicine just in case.
We'll have a separate skull to it to help solve the issues of that one. You create a problem and then you create the solution to the problem, and that's how you make money.
Ah, genius.
No. So let's see how well Krut does, unless anyone has anything else they would like to try and drum up more of a crowd. We will get to see how Krut does against Big Joe. No? Alright. Krut, are you ready?
Krut is ready.
Alright. So there's a number of these like fairly large. The first one's maybe cannonball size stone, and then they go up to maybe like a cow's head size stone. And Big Joe points and says, "Pick the one you would like to try to lift."
I immediately point to the cow's head.
Okay, that's good choice. Good choice. You do have Nudge Faith and Guidance, so both of those will help you out. Nudge Faith, you can give yourself a +1 retroactively, changing the outcome. And Guidance, I believe, is something similar.
It's a +1 to a skill check.
Yep. So you have a +1 to a skill check. I'm assuming that's going to be your athletics, and let's see where we go. All right. So make a athletic check and add 1. Okay. Would you like to retroactively add that +1?
Yeah,
No, you're okay. You're just gonna hold that down for now. Awesome. So with a 25, Krut, how do you lift this stone up? Because you got this. Like you're all about this right now, Krut.
All right, I kind of spread my legs and squat strongman style, and then kind of reach around and then lift it up. Realizing that it's a bit easier than a lot lighter than I thought it would be. I'll try to shaft with maybe with one arm, just like holding it against my belly.
You give like a wave to the crowd.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And you finally wave to the crowd, and you start to totally get that stone up onto that pillar, and a shriek goes out, and there's a loud a scream, and then a dog bark. What is happening? So what is happening is, jumping out from behind a small stall, actually fairly close to where everyone decided to post up. Goblins appear. Big head, beady little red-eyed, sharp teeth, angry little goblins. They seem to be intent on making everyone have a bad day. And one of them is actually jumps up onto a turned over barrel, and one of the and pulls out what looks like a harp, crudely created, and decides to start to announce their presence to the crowd. And we are going to have to roll initiative. So on your character sheet, you should be able to see on the main page where it says initiative, the perception. You just kind of grab that and roll that, and I'll roll everyone into initiative. Oh, there are those big numbers.
This is not the time to get those numbers. Yeah, but
Well, if you go first, you can at least, even if you roll low, you can do something.
true.
Yeah.
Even if it's just run away.
I have to. Yep. And
You don't need to be fast, just faster than the person behind you.
and the person behind you. Right.
Roll, but mine's not.
How brave do we want to be today?
Did it not pop up?
No.
No. You just have to roll in that box.
Oh, I was rolling in the wrong box.
There you go.
There we go.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Wow. The entire group kind of kicks everything off. Rain kicks this off with a bang, as it is your initiative. And so a goblin, peeks out, crawling out from underneath the stall with its dog slicer in hand, looking angry. And you notice that the dog slicer is dripping with blood, and there is now a dog limping away, severely injured.
Oh, she's upset. I would like. Let's go ahead and move to attack it. She's going to just go straight forward, and she will use produce flame.
Produce flame. What kind of produce are you creating? Cantaloupe, banana.
It'll look like a small cabbage on fire.
Nice. My cabbages.
So she'll produce it in her hand, which is normal probably size for most people, but it looks rather small in her hands.
Of course.
And she is going to throw it at that goblin.
Sure. So all you do is you grab the dice and you just roll it onto the initiative tracker if you have it open.
Okay.
And you just pick the goblin. So the closest one to you is that Goblin Warrior 1. And you can just drop that d20 on that goblin.
Is that the...
That's this one right here. It's like moving back and forth.
Yeah, that one. Okay. I know. Okay, next to it I have attack that says +3, -1, and -5.
So yeah, those are the multi-attack system.
Okay.
So you're not rolling with a negative 5. You're rolling with that +3.
Okay, good. Sure. All right, let's go for this. 13.
So you whip that cabbage at the goblin, and the goblin kind of ducks underneath the stall as it comes hurling past, and the goblin like yells out, it's like ah! Terrified that this flaming cabbage just kind of ran past it. So that was one of your 2 of your actions is to cast that spell because it's verbal and somatic. So you summon it and then you hurl it, and you still have 1 more action. So you can take a move action, or you can even do a physical attack if you want.
I'd like to move closer just to kind of shield everyone else in that process. Like I'm just going to move in front almost in a protective manner.
Awesome, yeah, sweet. So Rain taking charge.
We'll kind of barrel her way up and stand in front, almost blocking any clear shots that they might have at any of my friends.
Yes. Malvolo, I believe it is your go.
Malvolo is very surprised by the sudden arrival of these tiny little creatures. He kind of turns to Collodi, and Collodi immediately, his eye color sort of changes as the lenses go to bright red. He flicks out his wrist, and a short blade sort of emerges from halfway down his forearm. So for my first action, because Collodi and I activate or function simultaneously, Collodi is going to use his first action to move 5, 10, 20, 25, 30 forward and up to the Goblin Warrior 1, and basically take a large swing. As he does so, he's kind of aiming for like kind of the middle of his chest, and as he does so, he says, "You got red on you."
Nice.
And slashes upwards with a 24 to hit.
Wow. Yeah, that goblin, he is sad as you slash upwards, as Collodi slashes up. Oh,
11
wow.
points of damage.
Tell me how you finished this goblin off, because...
So in the traditional sense of like, the sort of, like looking down and sort of, whipping him in the chin, like, that you'd normally playfully do, he stabs him in the chest and then cuts him clean in half from the midsection.
Oh, rough. So that goblin goes down.
And Collodi then looks over at the other goblins, and there's like sort of blood over his face and on his arms, and he's looking at Goblin Warrior 3, and you just hear this kind of rattling noise as he sort of twists his neck.
Oh.
For my second action, well, sorry, that was my third action, sorry, because Collodi moved and then attacked. For my next action, I'm going to use my ability known as, it is called Move Together. And I am going to have Collodi take an action to move to back up Ranne, just sort of standing side by side in formation. And Malvolo will attempt to clear some of the civilians, basically, sort of telling them to stand back, please. There are dangerous creatures nearby. Find shelter in your homes quickly.
Yeah.
Anyone that looks at him, he'll immediately pull his hood over his eyes.
Awesome. So a few of these guys are going to start to run and flee, following your advice. So they're all kind of making their escape at this point. Kasaundra, is your go.
Yeah, I'm going to follow Malvolo's example, and the 2 people in front of me, I'm going to usher them away. Yeah, that I'll use my whole action to like usher them away.
Well, that could just be one action. You're just gonna kind of yell at them like, "Move! Get the hell out of here!"
Okay. I'm gonna then yell at them. Move! Get out of the way! Go take shelter in the Rusty Dragon. I mean, we're here. Might as well. Yeah. And then I don't know if I'm really bad at this, but I can't find the initiative tracker. Order.
Not a problem. So it's new for a few of us. So on your right hand side, you'll see like the gray bars. It's the 2 cross swords.
There we go. Awesome.
Yep. So you should now see the goblins that are up there and all that jazz.
Okay, cool. And then I'm going to cast Divine Lance, and then I just put it on the one I want to hit.
Yep, you just drag and drop the D20 onto that. Oh no! So, Kasaundra helping the people move and try and get out the way, more worried about their safety than her own. She summons the power of divinity to, harm this goblin, and the goblin sees your hand gestures and realizes kind of what's coming. They're not that stupid, and at the last second puts a barrel top over their head, and the lance slams onto the barrel top, shattering it, but protecting the goblin from it. With that, Krut, it is your go. You're still hanging out with those giant boulder rocks and Big Joe, and Big Joe looks a bit scared.
Is Krut able to? He's still holding the cow head-sized boulder, right?
Yes, Krut is.
Krut would love to toss the boulder to the closest goblin.
Sure. So on your character sheet, right? You're just gonna take your dexterity bonus number, that D20. So you'll see where it says is that for you it's +2.
Yep.
And just roll that over the goblin you want to hit, and that's you throwing the boulder. Sadly, I don't think Krut is proficient with giant rock offhand.
That didn't work. Okay, let me try it again. Is that no?
On the initiative tracker, you rolled the D20 on the initiative tracker over the goblin you want to hit. So that's Goblin 3.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
On the initiative tracker, it's right under Nexen's initiative. It's Goblin 3.
Right. Okay, there we go. No.
If it's not working, you could just roll it on into the roll thing, and I'll do.
Okay.
It's basic math. It's not that hard. See, I don't even have to do all that much math because you rolled a 20 on that check. So this Krut kind of like hurls this boulder. Roll a D8, and let's see what how much damage you do.
Okay. D8.
All right. So, tell me how you destroy Goblin 3 with this giant boulder.
I yell out, "Hey, you!" And then just yeet it.
So this giant boulder smashes into the goblin, destroying half the stall. The produce that was part of that stall is smushed underfoot by that giant rock, and it kind of rolls. And yeah, that goblin did not make it. Suddenly, the goblin that Kasaundra tried to summon her divine energies onto starts to say something and starts to sing a little ditty. One second. And with that, another set of goblins appear far onto your left, near actually Rain's stall. And they are now part of this combat. And you realize one of them is holding jars of flaming liquid. And you hear now a scream coming far off into the distance behind the stage. And you hear the tiefling yell out, goes, "Oh no!" And yeah, there are more goblins on this battlefield now. But it is Nexen's go, as the Goblin War Chanter has chanted their little ditty and summoned the more goblins onto the field.
All right. Nexen is gonna tie up a knot in one of the strings that she's got hanging down, and she will shout out, "Y'all hold your horses right there," and she's going to cast Daze on the one who just chanted.
So, our first 20 of the game rolled. Yeah, so that's awesome. The goblin that's a critical success. So, I believe you actually get some damage with that.
Yeah. That is 1d6, I think.
I believe you're 100% right with that one. So for 2 points of damage, the goblin has now taken 2.
And she's going to kind of look over her shoulder and see those other ones and just move right here. Kind of like hide back, ducking down. Y'all got this.
Like, good job, everyone. Yay. There's a lot more goblins than I thought. Yeah, so my goblins all get to go now.
Everywhere.
Yeah, there's just goblins everywhere now. So goblin number 2 is actually going to run up. So it's going to spend its one action to run up. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to have to use another action to run up to Collodi. And
I too like to live dangerously.
Yeah. And I believe it still has its one action left, so it can make an attack on Collodi. Hopefully it hits. Oh, Collodi's all the way at the bottom of the list. I gotta learn how to roll Collodi into initiative. Oh, sadly the goblin is stunned by what is going on and misses Collodi entirely. Next up is all the goblins at the bottom. They get to go and they're just attacking people and people are yelling. And Nexen, you hear a few of your friends from the theater group, and they're yelling out for help as the goblins run up and start to cut into your well-made and beautiful clothing. And yeah, let's see. So people are scattering here and there. They're just running and fleeing. All my goblins go. And yeah, top of the round. Rain, it's your go again.
All right. This time I'm going to use my movement to come up here and I'm going to attack this goblin with my sickle. So just going to pull it out and we're going to do the best we can. Gosh darn it!
Oh.
swing and a miss, but we're gonna try again for our third and final action.
Yes. Let's see what happens.
Oh,
Yep. There you go.
finally cleaves into it.
Yes. Now please roll damage.
For
Wow,
5.
that is a lot of damage laid into that goblin. So that goblin is not doing well at all. It's looking fairly sad. And now my now where is my goblin? My Goblin Pyro. Oh, I love these guys. They're so much fun. They set things on fire. That's their whole job. This goblin kind of steps out. He's like, hey, yo, I got these fireballs for everyone, and starts to hurl them indiscriminately into stalls. And let's see, actually. Just gonna throw a torch. Let's see how bad this does. 14. It actually lands on one of the goblins that's attacking the theater group, and the goblin's now slightly on fire and is now just randomly slashing and attacking. Awesome. That was my Goblin Pyro, and it's gonna move up to cause a little bit more chaos and carnage. But never to fear, Malvolo is here, and it is your go.
All right. Well, Malvolo is again kind of still taken aback by all the events that are going on. Seeing Ranne, battling the goblin by her side with her mighty sickle. I feel as though she's got things well and truly in hand, and with Krut between me and what looks to be a goblin with a harp, I feel pretty safe. I yell out to Malvolo, quick, go for the one with the flames. If he sets fire to any of these buildings, or even the church, quickly. And I'm going to use the act together action.
Mm-hmm.
Malvolo is going to, Collodi is going to move first. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So he's going to move down to there, which, if he has attack of opportunity, the goblin will provoke it.
Mm-hmm.
And Malvolo
goblins do not.
Yay! And Malvolo will also move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 to here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one action. Second action, Collodi will move yet again. 5, 10, 15, 20. He's going to stand in front of this civilian.
The
This
tiefling,
tiefling
yes.
woman. And say, stand back. I'll protect you. But first, you and I, we got some business. Hey, Chief, you making fun of my accent? And he says, pointing at the pyro, you making fun of me? Huh? You think you're wise, cracking at me? And he's gonna then, while he's talking to that pyro, just stab the goblin next to him in the head.
Oh no. That took a turn I was not expecting.
I ask you a question. Take this, goblin. No, he misses. Wait,
He missed.
I'm gonna lean into straight up the hero point that I've got.
Yeah,
Because why not? I want this druid to be dramatic.
Okay.
Now what can I use hero points to add anything, or do I re-roll?
You just re-roll.
All right, I'm gonna
The hero
re-roll.
point uses the re-roll.
All right, come here, you. Oh my god!
Oh no!
I think it was punishing me for trying to look too cool. I'm
That's
definitely
what it was.
pitching out of my league here. I should, you know what? And this is entirely my fault because I did specifically say that I wasn't looking at the guy I was trying to stab.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a critical fail now. So that's a thing.
That's a new thing.
That's a thing.
Alright, so our first crit fail let's do something fun, right? So I think Collodi, you have that dagger, correct?
Well, it's technically my arm.
Well, yes. So your Collodi kind of is looking at the pyro, is like, taunting the pyro, and goes to stab at the goblin next to him, and misses terribly and stabs into Collodi's leg, and kind of gets it stuck in a joint.
I'll then sort of start rotating my shoulder like I meant to do it. Like, it's like the West Side Story. Like, yeah, you don't want none of this. Not working, but I would.
Yep. Sure.
How much damage do I take?
I don't like giving out damage, but you are hampered. Collodi is hampered, so their movement is going to be dropped by half till they make a medicine check or a woodcraft check.
Carpentry check.
Carpentry check. Either one would work fine for Collodi.
Very well. Malvolo will probably do something about that in the next round.
Sure.
But done. That's me.
Awesome. Kasaundra, it is your go.
I'm gonna try and divine lance again since I'm here.
Okay.
And hopefully he can't call any more friends. So I want to attack the one by me. I think that's. I'm doing so good. So good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like trying to shoot my divine lance at my hands, but I'm getting very distracted by the West Side Story when you're a jet on the side here. And I'm just like, what do you do? And also all the people standing around, guys, like there's an actual fight happening. So I'm gonna move because obviously this guy doesn't want to get hit by me, so I'm just gonna move to a different area. And as I do, I'm gonna run past people and be like, why are you standing here? Go to the tavern for safety.
Sure. So why don't you pick where you would like to move?
Wait, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. Okay, I'm gonna stand in the middle of all those people and next to Malvolo and be like, go!
A few of them, they're gonna, on the end of your turn, they're just gonna kind of move and start to scatter. A little Catman's gonna run towards up towards Krut and them. Which actually brings us over to Krut's turn. Krut, what would you like to do?
I would like to run up to this goblin that was chanting or whatever he was doing. Realizing...
Throw one...
So,
go ahead.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So realizing what the sheriff said, I'm like, oh, I need to talk. I need to use my mouth. And I just bite the goblin's face.
I'm glad that stuck.
What would I need to...
To do a bite. So that's just gonna be, I'm not sure, I don't think you didn't take the proper Lizardfolk chomp skill. So just take that +4 and just roll it on the war chanter. And that's your 2 hit.
Okay. That's not working.
If it's not roll, you could just roll it in the thing. That's fine.
Okay.
They don't have much AC.
So my +4 strength, was it, or?
Yes, you have +4 strength. Why do these goblins even try when Krut's around? So roll a d6 points of damage, please, and add your strength, which is a +4. So you could just roll a d6 and we could do basic math.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm not mad. I bring one singing goblin, everyone kills him.
Kind of like. And I think that's That's it.
My War Chanter, let's see, he has taken a max of 8 points of damage currently out of a possible 16 HP. So you're biting into this poor War Chanter. He's super sad. He's at half life right now. But so you moved, you bit, you still have one more action. You could,
can I just bite him again?
yeah, you could try and like sink those fangs deeper.
Just get in
So
deeper. I'll do one
yeah.
side of the face, and then I'll go around and go for the other side of the face.
Yeah, like you're doing the European kissing the cheeks,
Yep.
but not kissing. So you just rolled the d20 with the +4, but because it is your second action, you have that -5. So
-5?
it's so it's a -1 altogether. So you roll a d20 -1.
There we go.
Okay. So that's going to be a critical miss because you rolled a 5, and if you take 5 away from 5, you have a 0. And in second edition, if you're new to second edition, if you roll 10 above the target number or 10 below the target number, you may get criticals. So that is a critical failure for Krut. On the second bite, the goblin kind of whips its head back and pushes away and says, not on the first date. And next up is the War Chanter, who is getting mauled to death here. Sadly, though, they are stunned from Nexen's earlier daze effect. So what happens with stun is, just so everyone understands, it comes with a value, such as stunned 1 and such, and this one was stunned 1. So they lost an action. That's what stun does. They lose an action. So the Goblin War Chanter is actually going to run away from Krut because it is scared. If that's okay. Krut, do you have a attack of opportunity on your character sheet?
Where may I find that?
That would be your Barbarian, correct?
Correct.
I apologize. I still get you confused with being a fighter. I think we might have said fighter at one point. You do not have an attack of opportunity. Later on, Barbarians can pick that up, but you do not. So the goblin is going to scuttle away. So it's going to go 5, 10,
We will allow it to scuttle.
15, 20. And it's going to step next to the goblin that Ranne is attacking. And that goblin is going to use its reaction to take a step away from Ranne, as that they have the goblin scuttle reaction, which is if they step next to another goblin, they can move each other. So it's kind of fun. And the War Chanter is going to, let's see. I think it has enough actions to inspire courage. Yes, it does. So it's going to give all of its goblins in a 60-foot like sphere around it +1 to their damage rolls. So it's pretty big.
Bummer.
Yeah. So it's gonna start to sing a little ditty, a little louder, and all of them get a little better. But it's Nexen's go. So Nexen, what would you like to do?
I am going to pull out my sling, and I'm going to cast a magic weapon on it.
Nice.
And say, give me a little sugar here, and I will. Hey, look, you stepped out. I will attack that guy that I just stunned.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. You hit. So why don't you roll a little damage and let's see what you do.
All right.
So magic weapon is, I believe, you get a bonus to that.
Yeah. It's a +1 to hit and
Plus 1 die, I believe, on damage. So,
yeah.
Yep. So you get to roll 2 die. So 2d6. There it is. There's that 7. 7 points of damage to kill that war chanter. Sadly.
Y'all leave my costumes alone.
And bye-bye, Goblin War Chanter. And the bless now goes away. Awesome. So is that, I believe that's your whole turn, correct?
Yeah, that's all 3.
Wonderful. Now go my insane goblins. So goblin number 2 goes, and he's gonna keep running, and he's gonna run over and attack Kasaundra. And
look out behind you.
That's okay. Don't worry about that. And we're gonna see if this little goblin's dog slicer does anything. Oh, terrible. Sadly, no, it missed. And then it's gonna like hiss at you, Kasaundra. It's gonna slash, and you dodge out the way. And then the goblin's gonna like hiss at you, like showing its sharp fangs, and it's gonna run away from you as if you are a mighty warrior, and start to run towards the crowd of people, and slashing and assaulting them as it runs. Goblin number 3, the warrior 3, is going to attack Collodi. So let's see if this works. Poor
I'm
Collodi.
gonna thank Malvolo for the heads up, which is why I didn't get stabbed.
Oh, Collodi, that does hit. Got that. So let's see how much damage this does to Collodi. So Malvolo and Collodi both take 4 points of damage, as that is the bond they share.
Yeah.
So the goblin, seeing that it's it now has Collodi on the ropes, clearly, it's going to try and goblin attack again. See if this works with a -4. Why didn't that roll with a -4? Oh. It's okay. I believe that hits. Does a 18 hit, Collodi? I think that hits. Yes.
See. 18 will hit Collodi. His AC is 16.
Yes. So we're gonna roll some damage right there. A little bit more. For 2 points of damage. And then it's going to end its turn. Next up is goblin number 4. And this one is going to try and get under the stage. So it's going to start to crawl under the stage, coming for Nexen. Sadly, it's very dangerous under the stage, so it's going to waste all 3 of its actions getting under the stage. Goblins are not a tactical war machine. They just kind of do what they want. And goblin number 5 is actually on fire because the pyro threw its torch, and that goblin is going to do what all goblins do when on fire, and that's run dramatically in a direction. I'm going to roll a d4 to see which way it goes. 1 is north, 2 is south, 3 is east, 4 is west. Hopefully it goes south into that tent. 1. So it's gonna run right at the people in front of them, just screaming. And let's see, 5, so 10, 20, and it's gonna waste its another turn. 10, 20, and Malvolo and Kasaundra, you notice a goblin kind of like running past people on fire, screaming, coming towards you. Yep. And that is that end. So top of the round, Rain, what would you like to do?
Boom. Okay. What do I want to do? That's a good question. Let's start moving down towards some of our goblin friends down here. I'm gonna go towards the one that is in the crowd attacking people. I'm going to use my first movement. 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. I can take that diagonal move, right? 25?
Mm-hmm. That's
We're
fine.
going to take our first sickle slash.
Yes.
Trying to attack it one more time. Or not this one, for the first time.
Do it. Do it. Win.
No. We're going to try one more time.
One more time. We're almost
Every
there.
time. Please. Yeah, right? Come
Right,
on. Yeah.
That hits. That hits. Roll damage. That actually is enough to kill that goblin, sadly.
What?
It wasn't doing too well. It took other damage before.
I'll take it. She's gonna go in. That first swipe misses, but she'll do like a full circle around, almost like she's purposely doing it for momentum. And that second one gives her enough power just to swipe its head clear off. Don't mess with my friends.
Awesome. And Rain, as you get there, you start to hear something. It sounds like dogs barking and a man calling out for help. As
Away, you ugly green cur! Montrose!
Can I tell where that sound is coming from?
yes, you now notice some more goblins have appeared on the field as they seem to be attacking a man and his guard dog all the way to the south, actually right behind your stall where you were standing. The guard dog seems to be defending against this uglier, it kind of looks like a rat mixed with a chihuahua, but about the size of a small child. And the two dogs are barking, growling at each other. There's a goblin, another goblin with a torch in its hand trying to set your stall on fire, actually. And a goblin seems to be leading them, seems to be pointing and holding this dog by the collar and is pointing and trying to attack. And yeah, that's what's going on over there. There's now more goblins on the field.
If there is a fourth wave, we're dead.
Sadly, so it's now the Goblin Commando's turn because they've just got into that, and that Goblin Commando.
Goblin, what now?
The Goblin Commando.
Is he going commando?
He is going commando, actually. It's
even more intimidating, actually.
It's way more intimidating now.
Not it.
Got confidence.
Next, put some clothes on that thing.
I'll work on it.
So that goblin is gonna go, and it's gonna say some stuff in Goblinese. Does anyone speak Goblin?
Oh, I think I do. I just can't find.
That's fine. If you feel that you do, then I'm gonna trust that you speak Goblinese.
Yeah, I think I took Goblin.
Awesome. So what that goblin says, what you hear, that goblin screaming, the Goblin Commando is screaming, "Kill the dog! Stab that dog!" And there is a Saint Bernard is guarding a well-dressed man and is trying to protect his owner, and you can assume that's Montrose, as the man was calling out. Just moving some of my my people tokens. So that Goblin Commando is gonna spend his turn kind of egging their dog on, and doesn't seem to be too much of a rush. Next up is Goblin Pyro. The first one, the one that's been throwing things randomly, that Goblin Pyro is going to move up right in front of Collodi. And so it spends its one action to move up. And these goblins are no slouches, as it starts to weave mystical energies and it starts to cast a magical spell and it's going to cast Burning Hands, which is going to have to.
Oh. Collodi says, "Now listen, I knew we got off on the wrong foot here. Okay? There ain't no need to start with the burning hands. Okay, calm down. Okay,
Setting
maybe
fire
we can
to
talk."
It's gonna waste its turn. It's gonna.
Krut's good at talking.
It's gonna cast Burning Hands.
Oh God.
So
I am so flammable.
So it's a 15-foot cone. So that's 5, 10, 15. It's gonna catch a bunch of his own warriors who also need to make a few saves. They're goblins, man. They just do goblin things. So Collodi, can you give me a reflex save? You just have to beat a. I believe it's something easy.
I hope it's an 11.
Let's see what your Goblin Pyro reflex save is. It is not. It's a 16. So let's see what these other goblins, how they do.
Oh.
One of them passes. Okay. And Goblin Warrior 5. Let's see how you do. And another. So the goblins, see, they don't mind because they got that reflex. So they're pretty good at it. They're like, it's fire. We deal with this a lot. It's not so bad.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I did not expect a person walking around with a torch to be able to cast fire out of his hands. I feel like I was caught off guard.
False advertising.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So if you failed, you will take a maximum of 6 points of damage, and all of my other goblins, because they didn't fail, but it is a basic save. This is just general rules understanding. They take half damage, so they'll both take 3 points of damage.
Oof. Ah! Oh, it burns!
Like a goblin purring sound that I
Yep.
hear.
I think that's the goblin dog.
That's the goblin dog.
Which sounds like, yeah, it does sound like purring.
Right?
Like, you know, if you ever heard like a cat sort of sleeping and snoring, it kind of sounds like that.
So the funny part is Goblin Warrior 5 that was already on fire, didn't make it.
Yes.
Oh, he dies.
Yeah, he dies because of the extra fire killed him. He took a little bit of damage from the torch, and did not make that one. Awesome.
Even he couldn't see past the torch.
Yeah, that was the problem. So that was the running at Malvolo and Kasaundra. But now the second Goblin Pyro, the one that is standing next to Ranne's stall, is going to run inside, run near her stall, and try to set it ablaze. So that will be that turn. But it is now Malvolo's go.
Okay, well, Malvolo has all of these kind of wounds appearing on his body, even though Collodi's the one getting hit. Gash marks from the blade and burn marks from the spell. Malvolo says, "Now I hope you know that, Kasaundra, that I'm in no way, shape, or form the heroic sort, and I just need you to and I'm going to use my first action to move so that Kasaundra is between me and the goblin. And I'm going to pull out my med kit and just start. Okay, I just need to staple these back in. And I am going to make a medicine check. I have the feat, which is known as battle medicine, which allows me to do this in combat. Which I can make a treat wounds check.
Yeah, that you can heal from that.
And that's what I wish to do. With a 15.
Yes, you pass. That's what you need. You need a DC 15, and you pass.
Nice. How much do I heal?
For treat wounds, it's I believe a D8.
I heal 3 wounds. As does Collodi.
Yes, which is very useful. You are immune to that for I believe a hour now. But Collodi isn't. So I'm not 100% sure how the summoner works with that. But I'm just gonna play it as Collodi is a separate entity. So if you want to treat wounds on Collodi, that's fine also.
I will remember this. So far I've moved. I've used a kind of a stitchy action.
Mm-hmm.
And I will have Collodi attack. He sort of looks down at his wounds and he sees his like charcoal. He says, "Nobody sets me on fire. Nobody sets me on fire at all. Take this!" And he then strains against his leg, realizing and remembering that his sword is stuck in his kneecap.
Yeah.
And I'm going to change my unarmed attack from my slashing bladed arm into what is effectively just a headbutt. And
nice.
Bring my skull down to try and whap him in the head.
A natural 20. Awesome. So you double damage. All damage is doubled as per that. So tell me how this works itself out, because I'm pretty sure you're going to kill that Goblin Pyro.
Yes. I don't kill him.
Oh, no, you don't.
I don't. But basically, as Collodi sort of stabbed his leg and was basically like leaning forward to try and attack, what he actually did was he tripped. And as he fell forward, because he's just taller than the goblin, his head came down like a tree trunk and just smacked the Goblin Pyro square in the head. Collodi's head sort of reels back, and it's almost like, you know, those Rock'em Sock'em robots? His neck extends a little bit, and his head just sort of bobbles a bit back and forth. Yeah, who's next?
Who wants some more?
Take a lot of you on.
Nice. I'm going to initiate the stunned action for that goblin, because you kind of caught it off guard there. So it has stunned 1, which is really awesome. That helps you guys out. On top of that, we are now up to the guard dog. The guard dog protecting its master, barking, and it's going to lunge out at the evil goblin dog, which actually meows or purrs, as we've come to understand it. Let's see how this works. Rolled a 16, and I believe that's just enough to hit it. So it's going to roll damage. 3 damage to the goblin dog. Oh, this goblin dog's not having it. And next up, it's going to do the same thing again. It's a dog. It's gonna keep biting. That time it misses though. So that's the end of the guard dog's turn. Kasaundra, is your go.
When Malvolo steps back and is treating himself, I'm going to turn to him and I say, "No judgment. I'm going to stay here too, and I'm going to try Divine Lance again on the one next to Collodi. I think.
Yes.
Did I get it on the right person?
Divine Lance does hit. Divine Lance.
Oh,
Yep.
Sorry, I rolled it on the dog by accident.
No, puppy, not like this.
I can't reach the dog.
It's fine. So roll damage on the goblin you're looking to kill.
Okay.
Oh, actually, that is double damage. I apologize, because if you were rolling on the correct goblin, it would have told you that's a critical. A 26 is 10 higher than their
Aaron,
AC.
it's dead. It's dead, dude. It's dead.
Is it?
Okay, just let it die, man.
No.
It's already dead.
And I'm gonna say, leave my weird friend alone. For Collodi.
All right.
Head rotates. Thanks. You're a
And
peach.
And then with my last action, I'm going to shout at the hoity-toity actress
Mm-hmm.
who's dead, and I'm like, "Why are you still waiting there? Take your beautiful costume and go to the tavern for safety."
Sure. So she's gonna take off, leaving that, and Krut is your go.
Realizing that Krut is the furthest away from all the action, he's going to run as far as he can. 25 feet. 25. Very frustrated. Am I able to like dash or something?
So you could take another action to keep moving. Yeah,
Cool.
you could
Yeah,
waste
awesome.
all your actions to just run.
Realizing that everything is kind of okay, to his left, he's going to charge over to where the louder noise is happening.
Mm-hmm.
20, 25. And he's going to use his last action to get there. 10,
Keep
15,
running.
20, 25.
As he passes Rain, Rain's giving him like a little, like one of those little cups you see the people pass out during the marathon. Awesome, yeah, great. That actually helps a lot, because that guy was in trouble, terrible trouble. Krut's turn ends, and it's the Goblin Dog's turn. The Goblin Dog is going to attack the Guard Dog. Oh, that is a critical hit to the dog. Let's see what happens. 10 points of damage. The Guard Dog dies, protecting its master. Well, not dies. It's unconscious currently. It's breathing very softly.
Don't deserve the woofs.
The puppy was doing what puppies do best, being adorable. Next is your go. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna shout out, tie another knot and shout out, hold your horses, y'all. And I'm going to try and hit that Goblin Pyro with daze. Oh, no.
The goblin sadly does not get dazed on this one.
All right. Great. And then I'm gonna move. 15, 25. Move up to here. Y'all get these costumes out of here.
And they're gonna go. So it's gonna be the top of the round. Rain, is your go.
Hearing the poor puppy cry out, her heart just breaks for this animal, and her eyes narrow in on that goblin holding the leash. So she's going to take her movement 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Cool.
Nice.
And we are going to attack that goblin leader just with absolute fury with our sickle. And that fury is going to really hurt our ability to focus.
Question for the GM. Can we use our hero points for other people? And second question, follow-up question, because it's Pathfinder 2nd edition, do we all start with a hero point?
Everyone does start with 1 hero point. Using it for others, I don't believe that's possible.
Okay, yeah.
So can I
But
use hero
you
point
do
for
have a
puppy?
hero point. Yes, you do have a hero point you can use.
Let's try that again then, because I'm mad. Rain does
Angry.
not stand animal dying.
Yes.
That's bad. Well,
Okay.
at least it's not a
Close.
critical miss.
No.
Slightly less bad.
It's slightly less bad. So you still have one more action.
Let's do it.
So you could swing again.
Yes, we are.
Oh,
Cool.
so close.
But we're getting its attention. That's all.
But
at least
you do have
focusing
its
on.
attention.
Yes. We're better
Awesome.
for her. And she's
so
going to
that
stand up straight with her sickle in hand and just eye up this goblin, this commando goblin from the chest up. Just
yes. The goblin commando, it's the goblin commander's turn, and the goblin, now realizing it no longer has the advantage and seeing its troops, quote unquote troops, not doing very well, decides to, it's better to run and fight another day than it is to stand and fight against a giant moose person and lizard person. So the goblin's going to pull out a horn and call for a retreat. And
Goblin is a coward. Takes one hit. We're getting out of here.
So the goblin is then going to run away. So we're going to just remove that token. Yep, and that's the goblin's turn. Oh, did they all disappear? Everyone disappeared. Good. Awesome. Everyone left.
Simultaneously.
Simultaneously, everyone left. Just that's how it works in my game. But you guys have ended combat because everyone, the goblins are retreating. They're just going to run.
Can I rush over to the dog side?
Yes, you may rush over to the dog side.
Are you hurt? Are you okay? She's gonna slightly lift the dog's head up and just. Can I cast stabilize on the dog?
You can cast stabilize on the dog.
I will cast stabilize on the dog then.
So the dog goes to. You stabilize the dog since you don't need to cast anything on it.
Puppy. Breathe. What's his name?
So the gentleman standing behind the dog leans forward and seeing that you're taking care of the dog, looks at you and says, "Oh, that is Montrose."
Montrose. Wow. Okay. Hi. Montrose, wake up. And she's just going to keep like stroking, scratching behind its ears like, come on, puppy. You can wake up. Come on.
And by doing that,
she just keeps petting its fur, kind of running her fingers along it.
Yes. So the dog slowly opens its one good eye and starts to lick your hand gently.
Oh, who's a good boy? And she's gonna just kind of scruff his little face up a little bit. You're awake. You did a good job.
And you now notice the goblins have so combat has ended. This man is looking at you, Rain and Eddie. Nexen and Nexen and Cassandra and Malvolo, you guys can kind of catch up to your friends over here and see what's going on. You guys seem to have saved a gentleman and their puppy.
I'll go ahead and
Victory is
start.
ours, my friends. Thank you again for saving me. But I have not yet introduced myself. I stand before you a nobleman born. I am Aldern Foxglove, of the Foxglove family of the nearby city of Magnamar, and I thank you for saving me on this day. But not just me. I thank you also for saving my beloved hunting dog, Montrose. Haha, Montrose, my boy, well fought indeed. You are also instrumental in saving my life, just as you have saved so many hunts. Oh, in these lands outside of Sandpoint, our fertile hunting grounds indeed. Haha.
So you've now met Alden Foxglove.
If only I had my weapons with, I would have joined in the fray, but I see there was no need. Who are you, my friends? Who are you, my saviors?
There was no need. Your poor puppy about died. Rain is just going to kind of turn and give him the shoulder.
I'm not so sure about that.
I don't like him. Just going to just keep scratching the puppy's ears. You deserve a better owner.
So the puppy's now put its head into your lap and is just kind of like eating this up.
I've been chosen. It likes me.
Nexen, Kasaundra, Krut, Collodi, Malvolo. What are you guys up to?
I'm gonna pull Collodi aside and I'll start casting mending on him.
Oh,
like
awesome.
tying little ribbons around the various parts where he's got bits missing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I tell you what, you are a lifesaver.
So that.
And,
Plus 5.
You know what? I am going to let you roll a d4, and you can get Collodi Collodi will heal a little bit more.
All
right, there you go. Collodi heals 2 more points of life, and Malvolo, you too, as you guys share that natural bond.
Woo! Thank you, Nexen. Oh. Where did all these goblins come from?
So what you can see is at this point guards are kind of trying to wrangle people. Cassandra has sent a wave of people to the Rusty Dragon, and Amiko and Bethana are kind of a bit whelmed at this point, trying to usher people inside, and you could see that like Amiko is kind of like wide-eyed and looking at Cassandra and is like giving you the shrug of like thank you, but also what?
Never let a good tragedy go to waste.
Apparently.
Malvolo will go over to Krut, whom he saw engaged in glorious battle. I've got my healer's kit at the ready, and I will, very similar to how Nexen is treating Collodi, I will start to treat everyone's wounds. Do you mind if I just, it's just these muscles are so big. Just need to just around the side.
Just kind of just push him away.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And so the gentleman that is standing in front of now Malvolo, Krut, and Rain is going to kind of like start to profusely thank you over and over again for saving his life and his dog's life. And
well, you're very welcome. I am pleased that you are okay, but I'm sorry, who are you?
Aldern Foxglove.
Ah. Okay, and well, it is nice to meet you. I am Malvolo, and this is my friend Krut, one of the guardsmen here, and Ranne, my business partner.
I must say, you are all rather formidable in the battle. Especially you, Lady Ranne.
Thank you. Still would have been nice if you had taken care of your pup, or at least helped to get out of here. It didn't deserve this.
No.
Foxglove does bend down and starts to pet his dog Montrose, and you could see that while Foxglove is taken aback, never really having taken into combat or been in situations like this, does care for Montrose, but is seemingly sad that such a terrible thing did happen.
Well, at least you seem remorse. Rain's going to stand up, feeling a little uncomfortable around this very fancily dressed man.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of stiffens up and scooches more behind Malvolo, allowing him to take the lead as she's expecting him to take the lead of this conversation.
Why?
She nudges him forward a little bit. Yeah, business partner.
Yes. What's that? Kasaundra, you need my help over there? Doing
She's
something?
gonna put her hands firmly on his shoulders.
Well, I'm so glad that you are safe and well, and that you are in town for, I'm sorry, the festivities, I presume?
Why, I'm here in town for the festivities, like everyone else. I do so love the butterflies.
I see.
Well, yes, butterflies, nice.
Yeah, Krut. Well, I'm sure that that we have other. I mean, I'm sure there are goblins still around. We should probably look into them and see if they're.
Well, we'll go check on our friends. You can catch up with Krut.
Yes. Talk to Krut. Krut will sort you right out. Yep, that's right. Let's go, Ranne. And it's almost like a cartoon scenario where you just see these plumes of smoke and the two of them just disappearing into the background with just Krut standing next to Alden.
Cassandra and Nexen, since both of you kind of work in the industry for the most part, you do notice that the gentleman that Ranne and Malvolo and now Krut is talking to is one of the city's, the town's wealthy patrons, and can, if you were to talk to him, he seems very happy. You could probably milk him for some money for certain things.
Nexen will kind of continue tying stuff around Collodi and just kind of drag him along and be like, well, we are glad that we were able to help you out with that puppy, and I'm sure we could use a little help with some supplies that we used up in this fight, if you know what I mean.
Well, thank you once again, my friends, for saving me from those wretched goblins. I feel as though this is a most fortuitous meeting. For now, I am tired, and I must rest. I shall return to the rooms that I am renting at the Rusty Dragon Inn. See me on the morrow, and I shall pay you recompense for what you have done for me, and I will be happy to buy you a drink. Until then, farewell, my friends. On the morrow we shall meet again. Goodbye.
And with that, Foxglove and Montrose limps off towards the Rusty Dragon, which is now full of patrons thanks to Cassandra. And calming down from the encounter and everything that's been happening, suddenly, Nexen, since you were so close to this, you start to smell something. and you kind of turn your head and you realize a ton of smoke is coming out from the area where Ranne had set up their tent, and a Goblin Pyro that totally missed the call to retreat kind of comes out snickering to themselves and then sees you and then yelps and then starts to run, and you now realize the tent and the area that Ranne's area has started to ignite into fire. And additionally, you also see a few other buildings starting to smoke up.
Y'all, we got a fire.
And with that, we will end here for our first session of Rise of the Runelords.